Welcome, folks, to Codex Candle, your one-stop shop for all things RPG. We are back with World of Warcraft. This is part 2 in a series of Let's Plays, or playthroughs if you will, where we are going to enjoy just a laid-back experience of sharing WoW with one another, max leveling as a Blood Elf, in preparation for World of Warcraft Midnight. So if that sounds interesting to you, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I always hated when YouTubers say subscribe at the beginning of a video and you're like, and I was always thinking, well, I don't know if I want to subscribe. So here's your invitation to not subscribe. Watch if you please, stay if you like, and enjoy. I'm super psyched to be playing WoW again. It's been a long time since I've played WoW, and one of my other goals of this playthrough is to learn a bit more about the lore, to learn a bit more about the world. I want to take more of a role-playing ASMR sort of approach to this rather than a technical tutorial aspect of this. I'm very interested in just enjoying the game. When I first started playing WoW, and it was around about when Miss Pandaria launched, 2011, 2012. I played it as an escape, as something beautiful to, you know, get my mind off of the things that stressed me out. In those days, it was college. I know, I'm a dinosaur. Maggie Shixaruna's gonna have to wait. If you're wondering about the name, Lan, it's the random name generator. WoW's famous name generator. I thought it sounded hilarious, and I thought I would do a humorous playthrough, but as I find myself going on, I see myself focusing more on the RPG ASMR aspects to this. Well, let's see what the Well Watcher has to say.
Glory to the Sindori.
The Sunspire. Okay, so we did the Shrine of Dothramar.
Keep your wits.
Lan, thank you for sharing your experience at the Shrine of Dothramar. First off, you should be commended for your sense of duty and respect. It will serve you well, not only here, but in all of Azeroth as well. As for the odd sensation, it is no doubt a contributing part of the taint that has befallen Sunstrider Isle. We shall keep an eye on it. Thank you for alerting us to it. Yeah, there's this weird magic in the air. There's this weird problem with the magic of the Sunspire. It's going out of control. By the way, folks, say hi to my cat, Pandy. If you ever understand the reference, you understand. Pandy is a stray in Sunstrider Isle that almost got swept away by that broom, but he's a stray. He's a tomcat, and he's taken a liking to Lan, so we'll see what happens. Solonian's belongings. With all of the chaos happening here at the Sunspire, I haven't had a chance to collect my belongings I've left outside of various places on the Isle. I must maintain my vigil over the Sunwell here, so I'll ask you to collect them in my stead. I need my Scurrying Orb, my Scroll of Scourge Magic, and my journal. Use this satchel for some extra space, as my things are rather bulky. Return them to me, and I'll give you a little something, you know, for the effort. You can keep the satchel as well. So we've got to collect a bunch of things. This is a fetch quest. But I got this lovely Sunstrider book satchel. Looks fantastic. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to speak with Lan real quick. We're going to do the Magistrix's quest. Fun fact. Magistrix is kind of a parody of a Latin word. I'm not really sure if it exists. I know in Latin the word magister means teacher, and magistra would be the feminine form. The IX is more associated with third declension nouns like lector, which means reader, and then the feminine would be lectrix. So there's your fun fact of the day. A little bit about me. I'm a history teacher, history nerd from New York City. My main channel is actually a shorts channel dedicated to history, antique books, and all weird things. I like to say history, fiction, and oddity. It's called Commonplace History. I also have a blog where I write different things, including historical fiction. If that sounds interesting to you, the link is in the description. Not the description, sorry. The link is in the bio of this YouTube channel. Nevertheless, I'm a big fan of history, so I might just randomly start to rant about Latin, the 18th century, or the history of video games. But for now, let's see what Lan has to say.
We will persevere.
Magistrix Arona told me you'd be along quick enough, Lan. We're Lan and Lan. The Falthrian Academy to our west, the huge floating building with the ornate spires, is in bad shape. You're going to be leading the effort to recapture it from one of the wretched, a blood elf who has forever succumbed to their basest cravings. I hope you're ready to work. This is not only going to be a lesson about danger, but also of what happens when you forsake the realities of who we are. Okay, so we're gonna see what happens when we forsake the realities, when we become forsaken, when we give in to our base cravings.
Hold your head.
I find that aspect of the Blood Elf story to be fascinating, that this is a story of struggling with oneself. I think almost every human living this earth can identify and relate to our constant struggle with two sides of ourselves. I call it the mind and the heart. The mind wanting maybe a more lofty ideal of self-control, and then the heart seeking to just gratify its base appetites. So I find that appealing, and I'm very curious how they're going to tie in this Blood Elf, years-long Burning Crusade lore into WoW Midnight and the invasion that's going to happen. Aggression. Before sending you to the Academy, I want you on another task that needs to be dealt with immediately. Once used to aid us in the gardening of Sunstrider Isle, the bestial tenders now have grown out of our control. Again, that lack of control. Even the beasts like the lynxes and the tenders are out of control. There's a wild magic, like in Faerun, but in Azeroth. There's a wild magic here, and we have to find some way to rein it in. Clear them out with due haste, but be warned, their lack of control has made them aggressive, and it is such aggression that forces us to put down these once gentle servants. Again, there's like a sense of reluctance, a sense of morose sadness that characterizes the Blood Elves and having to dispatch the Springpaw Lynxes and now the Tenders.
Time is of the essence.
I think I missed that last little bit. Let's go to the quest log. He said, "It doesn't please me to ask you to do such a task, but survival is survival. I'll mourn later." So there's a rugged prudence to the Blood Elf wisdom, which I find appealing and attractive. I wonder, I'm not the, there's no, well actually, I could use this turtle. Amazing, I could use a turtle. I don't know why I could use this. Oops. I don't know why I could use this, and it doesn't really do anything, does it? What does it do for me? Okay, you know what? I need to edit a bit and just put this, like, I'll put that there. Save and exit. So, like, when I click on myself, it's right there. It increases swim speed, so, like, there's really no benefit other than I'm there and then I'm gone. I'm there and then I'm gone, and there are the tenders. There's some part of me that feels a little bad for what I'm about to do. And the turtle as well. But you know what? The turtle is not here for this. Let's just get it over with. Let's just do this. Let's just do our duty as we see fit, as we have to. The name Tender itself is meant to inspire mercy, I suppose, that these are tender creatures that we should not be treating in this fashion. Let me just check on my, give me 1 second. Okay. On we go. Feral tenders. So we gotta kill the feral tenders, not the tenders themselves. Those are the little youth of the feral tenders. Well, I suppose they're not youth. They are, and I love how they're like cut in half. That's a lovely detail. There's tenders that are not yet corrupt, and then there are feral tenders. These are the ones that we have to, with reluctance. Look, he did a full 360. With full reluctance. I'm almost running out of space, aren't I? Even though I have those 4 extra slots. They're the ones who have lost control. They have succumbed to the influence of the dark magic. Will I succumb as well? I pray not. Only time may tell. I feel that it won't happen. Let's see, I haven't used the second spell. So it lasts a few seconds, and it's like damage over time. Whereas this one is, also has a sense of damage over time. No, I'm not gonna. I will spare all the tenders and only kill. Oh, but I'm called to kill the tenders too. I guess because they will one day be feral. So let's see the damage over time. Okay. I didn't see any damage over time with this. Sends a shadowy bolt at the enemy. Oh no, it doesn't have damage over time. It's just an instant effect. I know this may sound crazy, but I didn't notice when I leveled up. I got a new ability, Unending Resolve. Hardens your skin, reducing all damage you take by 25%, and granting immunity to interrupt, silence, and pushback effects for 8 seconds. That sounds fantastic. And it looks fantastic, too. Yeah, that looks pretty dope. It looks pretty dope. That's probably the last time I'm going to use the word dope on this playthrough. Never say never, they say. Now I must go after the non-affected, non-feral tenders. Because I've killed all the feral tenders already. There's one unsuspecting tree. Tree huggers of the world, please do not be mad at me for murdering in cold blood such lovely sprouts as this. But I need to. For the sake of all that is good, I need to. I don't know about you. When I play WoW, there's just something about it that I just lose myself and I become utterly relaxed. What game or what thing causes you just to forget all your cares and lose yourself for a moment in a world that is different? So this is the Scroll of Scourge Magic. And there's nothing we can do. We can't really read it or look at it. That water looks kind of janky. Let's see, do we have graphics? We got everything on. Everything is running good. Okay. While we're out, let's just... Should we return to... I think because we're there, right? We might as well. No. The OCD in me is saying that I should finish what I've started. Finish what I've started. Let me just make sure that we have all our graphical 40p. Okay. Basic and quality, so we got everything on max. Okay. I hope you can't hear my phone ringing. I'm gonna have to tweak the audio. You know, this is something that I'm getting. You know, this is my second video. I've made a few before, though on a different rig, aka a laptop, not on a gaming PC like this, and so it wasn't really cutting it. It wasn't really cutting it. But now things seem to be running quite smooth. Though I do need to get an additional cooler for my CPU. So we've got Solanian's Scurrying Orb. What in the world is he going to do with a Scurrying Orb? What is it that he's trying to see? What realities does he want access to? If I had a Scurrying Orb, what would I seek to see? What I seek, that which is, that which will be, or that which was. I think in my heart, I would probably look to that which was. I'm a little timid. I'd have a bit of trepidation to look up that which will be. And that which is interests me quite a little, which means not very much. So I think I would look up that which was. In his journal, will I be able to get to... will I be able to look at it? Nope. I think I would... I'm quite fascinated with the 18th century. I think I would love to be a fly on the wall for some moments in the past. Or maybe just walk around like 18th century London and Paris, Philadelphia, New York. To see the Forbidden City in China. There's many things I think I would love to be a fly on the wall for. But needless to say, I don't think I would scurry the future or the present, but the past. Oh, to see 33 AD. But no matter, we are here to do a job. Is to figure out this magic, this wild magic, this uncontrollable...
The eternal sun guides us.
This issue. Have you had a chance to find my belongings? Once we reassert our dominance over Sunstrider Isle, I will need them in my work. For now, though, I must maintain my watch over the Sunwell, or what remains of it.
We will have justice.
Well done. I knew you'd be perfect for the task. Once it's safe to make use of our outdoor facilities on the Isle, I'll be putting these things to good use. Like I mentioned, please feel free to keep the satchel. Also, you may find this piece of armor to be useful, considered ample compensation for the simple task performed dutifully. Performed dutifully indeed. Again, this is more of an aesthetical improvement. It's an higher item level. And, but no really improvement in terms of, the actual armor outload. So I have Warlock's mitts in exchange for Well Watcher gloves. Let's compare the aesthetics. Red for purple. Yeah, why not? Okay. Tally ho. Let's go check in with Lan. Or should I talk to some of the other people while I'm over here? I think I should. Let's talk to some of the other people while I'm over here. Already level 4. Level 4 on to 80. Arcanist Ilthanas. A fistful of slivers. It's a shame that we've lost control of many of the creatures here on the island. This was once a tranquil place of study and research. Now it's all we can do to keep from being attacked by our own creations. This smacks a bit of Frankenstein, doesn't it? Though the original story of Frankenstein is quite sad. It's about, if I were to put a SparkNotes edition, the creation being lonely and seeking a mate for itself. Seeing love in all other places in creation except for itself. What really affected me was the scene where the monster spies a family living in the cottage and just watches them, teaches himself to read while he's watching them and kind of helping, knowing that if they saw him, that they would be terrified of who it was that was helping them. It's a very sad story. But yeah, it is kind of Frankenstein-esque. It's kind of Victorian Gothic horror. I mean, I know there's the cartoon graphics, and it's maybe hard to imagine Gothic horror, but imagine this beautiful scarlet sun-streaked land full of magic and elves. But something's not right. It's still beautiful. But there's something going on with the magic. Something causing the created animals and magical beings to suddenly attack their creators. I find that story fascinating. I think it's all too easy when we're playing World of Warcraft. We're trying to max level, trying to get to endgame content. Like, obviously we're ramping up for WoW Midnight. But it's easy to ignore, I think, the simplicity and the interesting story that's being told us when we're questing and just not reading the descriptions and not really getting into it and allowing ourselves to be taken over by the story. So, they're being attacked by their own creations. I'm going to offer you a chance to receive a magical boon in exchange for some collecting works on your part. Bring me a stack of arcane slivers that are found on the mana-using creatures on Sunstrider Isle, and I will cast a spell on you that should aid you in your adventures on the Isle. Okay.
The reckoning is
So
at
I've got to
hand.
collect the arcane slivers. Let's talk to this other guy over here and see what's happening. I love how, like, there's like a cat sleeping. So cute. I'm a bit of a cat person myself. Not sure about y'all. You like him, Pandy? Yeah. And it just says attack. Like, no. I don't want to attack. It doesn't let me attack the broom. But by God, it lets me attack the cat.
What do you seek?
Yeah. Because it's all male, right? I
The
should have known. I'm a
reckoning is at
warlock.
hand.
And I don't need a weapon, do I?
Yes.
Arcanus Helion. Thirst unending. Again, that theme of, like, unquenchable desire. A desire that, if indulged, would lead to one's ruin. If there is only one lesson you deign to remember from your time on Sunstrider Isle, let it be this. Control your thirst for magic. It is a thirst unending, Lan. What you absorb must be controlled and released via arcane torrent. Failure is to become one of the wretched, hopelessly addicted, and insane. Seek out a mana worm and unleash your arcane torrent upon it. Learn to master your power. When you have sufficiently released an arcane torrent, return to me. And I get some shredding pants. Fantastic. So arcane torrent. Instant. Remove one beneficial effect from all enemies within 8 yards and restore 3 of your mana. So if I overuse my mana, that would be lore-wise, role-playing-wise, the equivalent of becoming, how did they put it? Is my memory that bad? Wretched. It'd be the equivalent of becoming wretched. And so by using Arcane Torrent, I can restore mana. The goal is not to overuse magic, but to use it in moderation. And thus we've done it. No, we haven't. I'm not really sure what I did wrong. Arcane Torrent unleashed. Huh. So let's say a fistful of silver. Collect silver arcane. Okay. So I gotta kill the mana worms. So let's do that while we're here. Give me 1 second. Okay. We don't got it. But that's okay. We're here for the process, not the outcome. I like the coordinating blast of me and Abathog, my trusty imp, summoned by demonic magic. And all I've received is a faintly glowing eyeball. Like, why in the world would I receive a faintly glowing eyeball? It is a good question. Is it the eyeball of the mana worm? And thus he's down. I haven't been altogether too lucky in getting an arcane sliver, and there we go. We also have bracers. You know, I think while I'm here, I should sell the useless junk I've accumulated. Because it is,
Everything has
you
a
know,
price.
like I don't need that. I can't use leather. I don't need that. I can't use mail. Selling the eyeballs. Selling the warlock stash. The sunrise bracers. I'll keep the journeyman's bracers. The sword. And smash pedal. Okay. I have 12 silver. We're gonna have to do some sort of celebration when I receive my first gold. Okay, so I didn't even have bracers attached. Alrighty. And we're back to what we have to do. So I did something wrong before when it came to the arcane torrent. Huh. Not really sure what I did, but let's try it again. No? Okay. We'll get there. We will get there. When I heard that WoW Midnight was coming out, I got very excited. I ended up watching the cinematic trailer. It looked very good. I ended up watching the gameplay trailer. It looked very good. And then I went on YouTube and read the comments. And I should have known that the comments were going to be very divided. There is a real, I suppose, bitterness towards Blizzard, Wizards of the Coast, companies in general. Me personally, I'm very easy to please. Nostalgia sells. You know, nostalgia does sell. Nostalgia. We have 5. We need one more. But nevertheless, when I heard that they were reimagining the Eversong Woods, I jumped on the idea of doing a playthrough. Because when I made my first toon, that is to say my first character, back when the current expansion was Mists of Pandaria, I made a Blood Elf, because Blood Elf sounded interesting to me. I had never played World of Warcraft before. This Vista is actually my first memory when I was booting up while my laptop back in, like, I think it's like 2011 or 2012 it could have been. And I was like looking at it, this Vista, hopping around, checking it out, figuring it out, seeing how it's going. So this is very, it just brings me back to a time when life was more simple. The world was totally different a decade plus ago. Nevertheless, Whispering Woods, Eversong Woods, is one of my favorite locations. Silvermoon City, I've always bemoaned that Orgrimmar was more bumpin', had more going on than Silvermoon City. And that always kind of induced me afterwards in future playthroughs, in future toons, to go the Alliance route, because I love Stormwind City. I love the aesthetic of Stormwind City. The first time I actually discovered Stormwind City was during the Hallow's End. So if you look at the lovely calendar, one of the best things about World of Warcraft is that you have these events. I love, like, for example, Dark Moon Fair, which is, I believe, next week? No, the week after next. But if you go to October, you have Hallow's End. So when Hallow's End was going on, there's this, there was, I'll have to see if there is. And definitely, like, subscribe if you're excited to see seasonal content, you know, like Hallow's End, visiting the fair. We're gonna do this playthrough, but it's relaxed, man. It's a relaxed vibe. We're not here to give a tutorial on how to play World of Warcraft. You could just open the game up, boot it up, play it, relax, put on a headset, pour yourself a glass of whiskey, or whatever is your pleasure. Needless to say, back in the day, during Hallow's End Festival, you could engage in a quest where you would get on a broom, fly to the enemy major city hub, and just throw, like, stink bombs on the players. And that's the first time I ever saw Stormwind, because I was playing this Blood Elf for so long, and I was enthralled. My attention was fully captured, and so I immediately made an Alliance playthrough, and I love Stormwind City so much. It's got such a great aesthetic. I love the woods surrounding it. But I really do love the Blood Elf vibe. I love the story, the sense of losing control, of trying to somehow use magic but not let it consume you. And I love Silvermoon City. I love the Eversong Woods. So when I found out Wild Midnight was, you know, doing this, I couldn't help myself. So let's try again. Why is it not working? I guess it's within 8 yards. Maybe it's just they're not within 8 yards. Well, I got my final sliver, and I also got some malachite. I like that icon, that green. It reminds me of emeralds. Well, I'm gonna have to wait. It's 2-minute cooldown. Let's just turn in what we have to turn in already, and then we'll see what happens. Like, what in the world are these? Oops. Hello, fence post. My apologies, dear sir. Like, what in the world are these? I don't know. It's so out there. It's kind of sci-fi, fantasy, weird. Whereas, like, the human starting zone is kind of just medieval RPG fantasy. This is more out there. I think the Night Elves starting zone is more like what you would expect with elves. Like when you're thinking of Tolkien and, you know, Lothlorien and the Elves of Mirkwood. I would say Night Elves have a Lothlorien vibe, and you know, I think this is more Mirkwood. Especially if you consider that Mirkwood is infested at Dol Guldur by the presence of Sauron. So definitely, I love the vibe here, and I love the. Oh, shut up. I do love it. Let's see what you got to say, Lan.
What business have you?
Aggression. While the deaths of the tenders, yes, the deaths I unwillingly but wittingly participated in. While the deaths of the tenders give me no joy whatsoever, it does show me that you're ready for the most important tasks you'll do here on Sunstrider Isle. Take this and put it to good use. You'll need good items and sharp wits for the task ahead. Our reassertion of control over the island depends upon it. And of course, we're going to go for the staff, because I'm not doing DPS through melee. We're doing DPS through range magic. And so the staff is just going to look a lot more aesthetically pleasing. And there's no real point of having these two, though, and it sells for more. And we're up a level 5, with a new ability, Fear. Strikes fear in the enemy, disorienting for 20 seconds. Damage may cancel the effect, limit of 1. And we have a new quest. Felindren, the Banished. A betrayer of our people resides atop Falthrian Academy to the southwest. Felindren is his name, and he was banished from the Blood Elf lands for failing to heed the warnings of our teachers and elders. So there's this real sense of, like, authority, control, respect to the elders. One of the quests that we did in the last playthrough, or the last episode, was to go to the tomb of a king. I think it was Dothramar, and just pay him homage and learn about him. And this was a mark of respect. So one of the values of the ethos of the Blood Elves is this respect of elders, of the teachers, of the teaching, of the doctrine, and restraint, temperance, control. In some way, I feel like a paladin playthrough would be, like, RPG-wise, actually quite enjoyable, given that paladins, and I'm using maybe a Faerunian Forgotten Lands sort of understanding of paladins. You have this oath. You need to maintain the oath through self-control, through making the right decisions. Whereas here I'm a warlock. I'm kind of doing what everyone's advising me not to do. I'm playing with forbidden magic. Come what may, come hellfire, I'm going to use this forbidden magic to make myself powerful as a warlock. Like in the Forgotten Realms, a warlock or a sorcerer, rather, is always attached. Is it a warlock or a sorcerer? This shows how I'm a noob in Baldur's Gate as well. I've played through as a wizard, I've played through as a paladin, so on and so forth. But you make a pact with the devils and demons of the abyss and of the 9 hells. Nevertheless, let's see. So we have this betrayer. He is the worst of our society, as he lives only to feed his insatiable magical addictions. He refused to learn control. He is a shell of his former self, one of the wretched, and he is a threat to the Sunspire. Destroy him, and the wraiths he uses as minions. So, consuming too much magic, while pleasurable and creating an ever-increasing desire to engage in magic, will not work to your benefit. In fact, it'll make you insatiable. I think, friends, that this is a good time to stop this video. It has been my absolute pleasure to share this moment with you. If you enjoyed this playthrough and you would like to see more, I plan on uploading 1 video a day on this game. I also plan on doing playthroughs of Baldur's Gate and on the Necromancer's Tale as well, an indie game that I'm quite fond of. So if that sounds interesting too, if you like the style of this playthrough, this ASMR laid back, just relaxing kind of vibe, like, comment, subscribe for more of this. Well, that's me, in and out, Codex and Candle, your place for all things RPG. Have a good one.